Hello again, my lovely, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I'm doing something I don't really love, but it has to be done, and that's condolence cards. So today I'm making some die cuts, and to cut the paper I'm using these graphite sticks as paint, and paint them onto watercolor paper. And now I'm using the Gansai Tambi silver to go over it to give it a little bit more shine. The graphite has a certain shine, but it's not so pronounced. And this looks like a mess now, but you will see how it will turn out later. So I've let the paper dry now, and I'm going to come in with some splatters in the brownish color. Before I used both the graphite black and brown, and now I will splatter some brown on top to make it look a little bit like graphite actually. And I think it's best to mix a little bit of this graphite in the dish, because the graphite stick seems to soak up the water. As you can see, it soaks right in, so you're basically diluting the whole stick. And this is fine. Splattering. And in the end I'm happy with the result, as you will see in a moment. I think you can see the shine of the paper as well, can't you? Then I also decided to splatter some silver paint on the background as well, which is what I'm doing here. And while the background is drying, I'm sorting out the cards and paper I'm going to use to make the cards themselves. And for the top panel I will use an embossed sheet of black paper. So I'm holding it onto the embossing folder to see if it would match my format, and it does. So before I put the embossing folder through my Sizzix folder away, I always mist the paper, and what I do is I spray water into the air, up into the air, and not directly onto the paper, and then a very fine mist settles over the paper. And I can't show it because I would be spraying the camera. So as you see, I am cranking the embossing folder through the machine, but the embossing didn't quite turn out because I'm using a Gemini embossing folder in a Sizzix machine. So I had to figure out a sandwich, and I think I put some cardboard in with the sandwich. So in the end, as you can see here, it turned out really nicely. That's the front. Yep. And I did all that twice. So next, back to my background, which I'm showing you some of the detail here. So you can see it is quite earthy, but still shiny. And I like how it turned out in the end. And I will use the new dye, or at the time I had it new, die from Alexandra Renke. It's a Eucalyptus wreath. And here I'm showing you the packaging. And I won't bore you with all the die cutting, just as an example I'm showing you here the wreath cut out of this paper alongside the little bow and the little twig. And I'm going to cut these out of this paper as well as some vellum, and then assemble them later. So here you see my two panels that I've assembled and stuck onto grey card, which I have stamped on the German stamp in stiller Trauer, in silent mourning, and added a structured paper strip to give it some dimension, and then added some string as a subtle embellishment. Now all that remained to be done was to stick the embossed paper onto the card and then stick the small panel on top, and I backed up the panels with a bit of foam to give it a little dimension. And now I'm debating whether to put some lighter card inside or paper inside so that I can write my message in there. The grey is the same color as the panels and my envelope, and so here you see me cutting the paper to size with my Deckled edge scissors by hand. It's a little bit fiddly, but it works out fine every time. So here's my finished card, as you can see. And that's it for this one. Up next is a different card that I used the same stamp in stiller Trauer, in silent mourning, but I made the card slightly different in that I made a panel with a die and embossed this paper or panel with the die, as you can see. And also I used different paper that I painted with a different color, so it's quite shiny, silver and bronze, but I'm also using the same die and the vellum again, and now trying to figure out how I'm going to arrange it all on the panel. This took me quite a while because it's again quite fiddly with the little string, which is Nymo yarn from Alexandra Renke, and well, I wanted to spare you the boredom of watching me back and forth, and so I'm taking you straight to the gluing of the wreath to the panel. Of course, I had cut many more of the little twigs that also come with this die set, but first of all I'm going to glue on a sequin, and which is a larger star with a smaller star on top, and then I will fill around with the little twigs and make the wreath a little more full, so that it gives a good composition in the end, in my view anyway. So here we are, trying to get this in there. So I'm going to fiddle around with these little twigs that don't have a lot of space for the glue to sit under, and take you straight to the end and show you the result. So I do hope you liked my little compilation of the condolence cards that I made, some of them at least, and please give my video a like and follow my channel if you're not already doing so. I would be over the moon, and thank you so much for watching. Do take care, do what you love. Bye for now. Ta-da!